not really concerned, but more so of a honest answer about the minor leagues, about getting too excited about minor league baseball, about getting to my disclaimer, if you will, before I wanted to talk to you about, selling sunshine and rainbows of the Padres' future. I like to tell people I'm a pretty fair guy. I'm pretty fair. When the Padres are doing well, I will say so. When they're not doing well, I will say so. Same thing with San Diego State. I've been critical of their football program, but I think it's going to turn around with Sean Lewis. I think it was a great hire by San Diego State. I'm critical of teams when you need to be critical, and I praise them when they deserve to be praised. So I'm fair in kind of evaluating what I see. I call it as I see it. And the fact of the matter is, my disclaimer for what I'm about to say was, again, it's going to sound like sunshine and rainbows, but I honestly believe this. The Padres are actually in a pretty good spot right now, even though it might not seem like it, because of the way the future is. This is going to be a hard spot. I mean, it's almost like what the Padres are doing right now, almost with your fandom, is they got that World Series stock, right? They got it. It's in either their 401k, their personal portfolio, and it was really high. That stock was really high. I mean, that thing was trading, you could come up with whatever, but it was trading and trending in the right direction. 2020 was moving its way up. 2021 moving its way up. 2022, man, the return on investment is great. Getting your dividends for the Padres World Series stock. And then it was probably at its all-time high in February of 2023, right before FanFest. That was the all-time high of the Padres stock. Got to be able to buy low and sell high. And then as the season started to progress, it started to lose a little bit. And it kept working its way down. Maybe a couple of days it was up, and then it started moving its way down. Not to catastrophic levels, did not plummet, but it started to move down. And Padres fans held the line through the trade deadline. They're hold. Gotta hold. Diamond hands. Gotta hold. So they hold through the trade deadline. Padres miss the playoffs by 2 games. Stock continues to go down. They don't sign some players that I think Padres fans were expected to sign. You see Josh Hader leave. You see Blake Snell leave. Stock continues to go down. Haven't made too many offseason pickups. Stock continues to go down. You trade Juan Soto. Stock really goes down for a lot of Padres fans. And now all of a sudden, it doesn't seem like it's worth hanging on to anymore. Sell. Time to sell. Sell it. Sell it. We have to sell. You're not getting your return on your investment. We got to sell. It doesn't look good. I'm telling you right now, Padres fans, you got to hold. You got to hold through 2024. It's not going to seem like it's bright, but you got to hold through 2024. Hold. Hold on to your Padres World Series stock, and I'm going to tell you why. They have to reset the competitive balance tax. That does not mean the Padres are going to no longer spend money. And I know that seems to be the tree in front of the Padres fans, but right now I'm telling you, take a step back and look at the forest of what the Padres are doing. They have to reset the CBT for so many different, for draft pick reasons, for international signing reasons, for penalty reasons. They have to reset the CBT. Let them do it. They are talented enough. Again, is it a full roster, complete roster? No, it's not. But they are talented enough to be able to be in the wild card race this season. I went through those teams in the beginning part of the hour. Go through the National League. As much as I did not think the Padres going into the season is going to be very good, they do have a very big asset in their bullpen. I think that's a strength of theirs. They got a couple of superstars out there that can help carry a team. They got 3 good starting pitchers. That's good enough to beat a lot of the teams in the National League. Go through the teams. Go through each division and tell me what teams are better than the Padres aside from the ones that are expected to win their own division. There's not a lot. I mean, some of them are probably just a little bit better than San Diego. But they could still win with what they have right now by also resetting the CBT. Look at the free agent class next year. Free agent class next year is better than the one this year. I know this year had Shohei Ohtani. That was the big white whale everybody wanted. But in terms of depth, next year's free agent class is huge. You got more help coming on the horizon in the minor leagues. Some of these guys are going to pan out. Not all of them. We've talked about that before. Padres have the 4th ranked farm system in all of baseball going into the season. For as much as the Padres have struggled to get on-field results, A.J. Preller has continually flipped the farm system multiple times. I mean, they ranked 23rd in their farm system last year in Major League Baseball. 23rd. They're back up to 4th. They're back up to 4th. And I'm going to tell you right now, as ESPN points out, most of their players, their top 5 guys that are in the top 100 according to ESPN, top 6, they got 6 guys in the top 100 according to ESPN. Not a lot of them are going to be graduating off the prospect list by playing multiple months in Major League Baseball this year. The only one that might do it might be Jackson Merrill later in the season, which means they're going to stay at number 4 unless they trade players, which I don't think they're going to do. I think they're going to hold, and they're going to have to hold. And you add the draft, which the Padres have done well with. You add another trade deadline, and we'll see what the Padres can put together. But I wouldn't be surprised. They could potentially, going into 2025, have the best farm system in all of baseball. What does that mean? Couple of things. You get 2 or 3 guys max out of that to add to your Major League roster, and you use the other prospects to trade to other teams to pick up other players, which they could still do this season. Let A.J. Preller draft. Let him go through the draft. And then part ways with some guys at the trade deadline if you're in contention, which I think they'll be. You got Ethan Salas, who's 17. Jackson Merrill's 20 years old. Robbie Snelling is 20 years old. Drew Thorpe is 23. Leolis DeVries is 17-year-old shortstop. They just got international signing. He's the best international prospect in this year's class. Dylan Lesko, he's 20 years old. I mean, that is your core group of guys in the next 5 years. In 5 years. Some of them will come up before that, but in 5 years, when you still have some of these guys under contract. It might seem bleak now, but I'm telling you right now, hold, because the World Series stock is going to increase again. It is. It's going to increase again. It might be tough for this year. 2024 might be a little bit unlike what we're used to in the last couple of years for Padres baseball. But I tell you what, they don't have the target on their back anymore. They got guys that are hungry and ready to play. They got guys that are hungry from New York that want to be something in Major League Baseball, that want to take the most of the opportunity. They need some of those players. The Padres have been lacking those young players that are hungry to go out there and compete each and every day. Paired with some veterans that know how to do it, they're going to be good enough to compete for a wild card spot. It's not punting on the season, but they got to reset the CBT. I'm telling you right now, there is sunshine on the horizon on a Sunday morning in San Diego with the Padres. Just got to make it through this year. And you never know. I mean, they might be in a position where they're in a wild card spot, and then A.J. Preller does make a move. But you got to keep the CBT low enough where you have room to do that. You got about $18 million to spend to try to fill this roster out for the season starts that will comfortably keep you out of the CBT where you could still make a trade at the deadline. Maybe you get another arm. Maybe you get the outfield bat you need. I don't think they're going to rely on too many young kids at the beginning of the season, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of them come up a little bit later. But I don't think the Padres should rush. Here's the Padres' plan: reset the CBT this year, fill some placeholders, see what you got in competition. You got enough stars on this roster that they should be able to get to the wild card with the team that they currently have. Again, look to the National League. Tell me who's better than them, aside from teams that are going to win their division. You're going to go into next year with the number one farm system in Major League Baseball. You're going to have more money to spend going into next year. It sounds like it's going to be business as usual for the Padres after they reset the CBT in living out Peter Seidler's vision. That's what I've been told. You got to see it happen first, but it doesn't sound like they're just going to be broke for forever. Let them play the season out. And next year with a big free agent class, wanting to spend money, resetting the competitive balance tax, and having the number one farm system in Major League Baseball, they can really go for it in 2025 while still being competitive in 2024. But you got to trust the process. I don't want to throw that out there, but I'm telling you right now, you got to hold.